Matthew says that he is having mixed results with scheduling OS upgrade task sequences, setting the maintenance window, setting pre download content, deploying as required, assign immediately after this event as soon as possible. On the user experience page, if I select software installation, it seems to ignore the maintenance window and will restart the PC even if the restart box is not checked. Could you go over the settings for the deploy software wizard and best practices so that they only restart in the maintenance window?
Uh, well, yes. Short answer is yes. In terms of pre-caching content, I strongly recommend to do that outside of the upgrade. So the way I recommend to deal with upgrade sequences is pretty much the following. Not that server, but this server. That you have a validation sequence, as I call them, but that's the name I gave them. So you go into 23 or 24, it's two, same concept apply. But basically, you have a sequence that reference the image upgrade package that you want to use. So that will be doing like a fake upgrade. So you launch setup, but you don't actually start the upgrade. I can actually zoom in here so you can see more easily. And I pick the upgrade package that I want to use. So this one doesn't start the upgrade. This one just checks the system, are you ready to do the upgrade? Runs the compatibility scan, and I typically put in some basic validation as well, just to making sure that we have enough memory, enough disk space, that we don't accidentally target the server, that we have, the stuff that Windows 11 need on the device. Like the bare minimum validations. But when I deploy this sequence in my deployment settings here, if I go to distribution points and select, basically change this is the default to download content on demand, and change it to download before starting the sequence. If you do this, you're forcing the content to go into the config manager client cache. So when you deploy this one, you deploy it without any progress bar. And this one is typically done for a required deployment. There is usually little need to allow the user to start this one, even though I have organizations that allow users to initiate this part one as well, often in combination with a little toast notification in the taskbar. So you push out this one first, and it serves two purposes: validate stuff and making sure content is in the cache. Because that means when it's time to actually do the upgrade, like this one here. So unlike the validation one, this one does not run the compatibility scan. This one actually do the upgrade. And at that point, the content is also on the disk. So the minute the user runs it from Software Center, it's going to kick in. This particular sequence reboot on its own. And if you initiate a sequence this way, where the sequence is hard-coded to restart, it's not going to honor any maintenance windows. But you want it to restart at this point because the user should not be using that device. But since the content is already there, this process goes as quickly as it possibly can go, rather than having to waiting 3 hours to get the content down and then do the upgrade. If you do required deployments, they will not start if you have maintenance windows configured. But if someone launches a sequence and that sequence has a reboot in it, it's going to reboot. And in this case, that is recommended. So This would be my recommendation. Split them up in two for two different purposes, and basically tell the users that when you launch this one, it's going to reboot. You can customize those messages a little bit. Not sure if I done it on this one, but yeah, you can put in whatever you need here and say, all right, this will reboot guaranteed. Have some coffee and come back in half an hour. I hope that answers the question.
That's a great tip.
So Gary chimed in there in the bottom, like, yep, there are manufacturers that come into play when you do required deployment, especially run sequences and other scenarios. So
Mm-hmm.
it's play, test, validate, rinse, repeat a couple of times until you see the behavior that you expect. That's why we have labs.
Exactly. And Matthew did follow up. He said, "Thank you. That should work well. Like to split them up, especially some of these are done over VPN." Absolutely.
Yeah, and VPN actually adds a whole nother layer to the mix
Mm-hmm.
because most VPN setups they won't allow the device itself to authenticate. It's something that the user does in Windows. So if I launch an upgrade sequence and it does its thing, it's going to reboot and it's going to want to continue. It can't, because at that point the VPN tunnel is not yet established yet. So if you have a cloud management gateway, yeah, then it can find the sequence and do it completely without VPN at all. But otherwise, you're often better off not using sequences. Our friends over at OneWin, Johan Schervelius and others, they had developed little, I wouldn't say hack because it's way more than a hack. This is a nice application. They call it the IPU Installer, so Implicit Upgrade Installer. And this one was specifically made for VPN type scenarios. So you basically have an app that runs the upgrade and not a sequence. So that's a good solution for VPN scenarios. Other options is, of course, to use like a custom script or something to drive the upgrade, but this one is more elegant and it's free.
Hey,
Free is
that's a
good.
pretty good price.